Welcome everyone to another episode of the ManscapePodcast. We got another amazing special guest for you, someone that's very big across social media. But before we get into all that, I need y'all to get into this. Go to TexasHotSauceCompany.com and order yourself a bottle of this amazing hot sauce. All of my viewers, I hope you all go and tap in and hit up Texas Hot Sauce Company, TexasHotSauceCompany.com. Hit them up. This is amazing. You will never get anything like it. Go to TexasHotSauceCompany.com now. And also, it is my birthday tonight. So if you want to tap in, show me some love, hit up the comments, show me some love, and let's get this guest up here and get started. Some of y'all know this guy. He's very famous across social media. Everyone, welcome BlackDragon.
Hey, what's up? How you doing, man?
Hey, what's going on? Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us tonight.
First of all, I use that hot sauce. That's a friend of mine that owns that company, and that is good hot sauce. TexasHotSauceCompany.com. I second that. Everybody should go get them some to support him. He's a fellow biker, and really good guy, and I appreciate him because when I was going through a pretty low spell in my motorcycle club career, he was right there with me the whole time. So it's just interesting that you would have his hot sauce up. He's a good guy. Good people. Go get that hot sauce, folks.
Yeah, he helps with us. He helps do a lot with us. He helps gets us out there, so we help show love back, and we help each other. We all work together out here. So where did the name BlackDragon come from?
BlackDragon, I got that name originally as a martial artist, fighting all over the world in the 70s and 80s. And I reached the level of 8th degree black belt, and I was given that name. They said that I fought like a black dragon, especially when I was fighting overseas and stuff. And then when I came into the motorcycle club world, the founder of the Black Sabbath Motorcycle Club Nation, Paul Pet Perry, decided to continue that as my name and my legacy after I crossed over and became a full patch brother in the mighty Black Sabbath Motorcycle Club Nation.
Everything I'm going to ask you tonight, I found through public information. But if you do not feel like answering something, just respectfully, please just pass on there and say you don't want to talk about it.
Okay.
Where are you from?
So I'm an Army brat. I was born in Orlando, Florida. Spent my first 6 years in Huntsville, Alabama, at Redstone Arsenal Army base. My parents got a divorce then, so then I moved to Oklahoma, where Lawton, Oklahoma. Lived in Oklahoma. My family's from Lawton, Kingfisher, and those country ass areas. So I spent my childhood in Duncan, Chickasha, Lawton, Oklahoma, Oklahoma City, Muskogee, all those places. And I went to grade school in good old Lawton, Oklahoma, the Dust Bowl of the world, and went to high school in Oklahoma City. And then somewhere in that, my mom went to law school out in California. She went to Pepperdine or one of those law schools out there. And so I moved to Chatsworth, California, where I went to Chatsworth High. And then we moved over to Africa, and then eventually back to Oklahoma. So I guess I'm from all over. I really consider Oklahoma to be it. When people ask me where you're from, I normally say Oklahoma, but Oklahoma, Florida, Alabama, Houston. I mean, not Houston, but California, San Diego, all over.
Where are you at now?
I live in, believe it, of all places, I live in mighty Atlanta, Georgia.
I thought you were from Atlanta. I've seen a lot of videos with you and having to do with Atlanta and stuff like that.
I've been here now for the last 27 years.
Do you got any brothers or sisters?
I have, actually, I would say I have two sisters. I grew up with my sisters. I didn't even know I had brothers. I my like I said, my parents got divorced when I was 6, so my dad had 2 other sons, and I met them when I was 48 years old.
Oh, wow.
So I got 2 sisters and 2 brothers.
So what's your relationship with your family like currently?
Great. It's excellent. My brothers my brothers turned out excuse me, I'm trying to get over pneumonia here, but
Oh, damn.
my brothers turned out to be pretty cool dudes, man. They my oldest brother, who's younger than I am, but the oldest of the 2 is a biker just like me.
Nice.
But both of my brothers are just like me. So my father uh, obviously married 2 of the same kinds of women because my brothers are just like me in every way, just about. I can't. They're the older one is a biker like me, um, but he rides race bikes and
Mhm.
he has 3 dogs. I have 3 dogs. He has a boat. I have a boat. He's just cool in every way. Uh, and then my youngest brother is a photographer. I'm a photographer. He's a programmer. I was a programmer. He's into computer engineering and writing and photography and traveling. So we all do the same things. By the time we met, we just feel like we just like we were never apart. We just boom, just like that because they're cool like I am. They do the same things I do. So
Are your parents still around? If so, are you close
no,
with them?
no, gone.
Um, I've been noticing the veteran hats in some of your videos. Were you ever active military yourself?
United States Navy submarines service. Yes,
Let's go. Thanks for your service, my guy. Even
appreciate
though
it.
I'm from Canada, I can show love to all military everywhere.
I
Anyone
do
that
too.
serves their country, let's go.
I do too. And we had a lot of fun with the Canucks. We call y'all the Canuck military. Pretty strong dudes, man. Heavy drinkers. Them dudes can drink.
And
Uh,
yes, we can.
so I've always had respect for you guys up there. I spent a lot of time in Canada. I was in the submarine force, and there is a base up there in Nanaimo that is a we use it for uh,
Oh, neat.
demagnetization, yeah, of our submarines, and there's a hunting range up there for uh, you know uh, war games and all that stuff, and spent a lot of time in there's a little island up there in BC. I forget Victoria. Is that the name of the island? Something like that. Great fun time.
Vancouver Island.
Vancouver, and there's a little spot up there. I thought it was called Victoria or something, but we used to go up there all the time and party with the pretty little Canadian girls. Oh my
Yeah,
goodness,
that's right across from Seattle.
yeah. And then I went to the World's Fair that was in Canada, probably 1987 or something, over in Vancouver, I believe it was. Great fun.
So, are you still active in the biker set?
I am. I am.
What do you ride?
I have many bikes. I have several bikes. My favorite bike is my Victory Vision, uh,
Hmm.
and I have a Victory Vision Premium Tour. And my next bike will be most likely will be the Challenger, the Indian Challenger. But
Hmm.
most I think it'll probably be the Indian Pursuit. I think that'll be my next bike.
So, I've seen you on a Gold Wing, didn't I?
I still have a Gold Wing. Yes, I still have a Gold Wing.
I've never seen you touch a Harley. Are you much of a Harley guy?
So when I first tried to buy a Harley, it was very racist where I was, and they wouldn't sell me one because I was black. And
Whoa.
um, this was a common thing that was happening back then. Uh, Oceanside, I believe it was, California. There was a big Harley Davidson dealer up there, and all the black guys told me, if you go up there and try to buy a Harley, they're going to tell you we don't have any. Why don't you go get another Suzuki like the one you're on? And I didn't realize that that was particularly a racist thing. I thought maybe they just didn't like Suzuki riders or fastback riders. But
Hmm.
sure enough, when I went up there I got really interested in Harleys because a lot of the guys were starting to get them. and I went up there to go buy one, and the first thing that guy said is, "We're all sold out." I was like, "There's 1,000 Harleys in there," and he goes, "We're all sold out. Why don't you go get you another Suzuki like the one you're riding?" And that was it for me. I lost interest right then and there.
Oh, wow.
So you could probably count the times I've been on one hand, maybe two.
That breaks my heart, and I was going to kind of lead into another question. Like, being a man of color, first of all, I got love for everyone from everywhere.
Oh, no,
Shout out our boy H-Town
no,
Loki.
I'm not a man of color. I'm a black man.
But I didn't.
No, that really kind of irks me when people say, "Oh, I'm a man of color." I'm a black man. It's easy to see. So
I didn't
I
know
just
how you wanted
clarify
to address that, but
when we do that. You don't have to be PC with me. I'm a black man.
okay.
And I'm cool with it.
I have many friends who are black. Shout out our boy H-Town Loki. What was your very first bike?
Honda Trail 50. I was probably 7 or 8 or something like that.
Oh wow.
Maybe I was 5. I think I might have been 5. Honda Trail 50 was my first mini bike that I can remember.
I was going to ask, being on the biker set and being a black man, have you ever experienced any like racial issues?
Oh, many. Hey, stop. Sit down. Many in my career, many in my lifetime. I'm 63 years old, so I'm pretty old. So I saw a lot of racial stuff in my life. Never tried to let it get me down, but definitely on the bike world, I've seen it. We've been across from clubs facing each other down and all that kind of shit.
Here's a bit of a fun question: how to do with bikes. Should the Can-Am Spiders be considered motorcycles?
So the definition of motorcycle in the dictionary and also in my book, Social Club's Bible, or rather Motorcycle Club 101, we define motorcycle in this book. And if you go look at the actual definition of a motorcycle, if it has a saddle and 2 or 3 wheels, it is considered a motorcycle. So I would definitely consider a Can-Am a motorcycle, or a type of motorcycle. Absolutely.
Yourself being someone who's very known well in like.
Can you hold a second? I think
let's go. Yep. I'm just going to pause.
When he rang the doorbell, the dogs went crazy.
So way back.
Hold on. Let me get us back into. Brutus, sit down, man. Cut it out.
Your screen just went black. Oh, there you are.
All right.
You're very well known and respected across motorcycle sets by many clubs, patches, stuff like that. What do you think of that Lone Wolf No Club patch?
Oh, I made a lot of videos about that. I find it interesting that people who seem to have no desire to be in a motorcycle club whatsoever, no desire, right? They hate motorcycle clubs. They hate everything about us. And yet and still, they find it necessary to cosplay, dress up in a motorcycle club uniform with the vest and the 3-piece patch on the back and the name on the front and all the stuff we have, except for the name curiously says Lone Wolf No Club. Well, then a true Lone Wolf No Club could ride looking like this. Or,
right.
Before I was in a motorcycle club, I just wore a leather coat, a bomber kind of jacket, and, like Fonzarelli and those guys used to wear. I used to wear a motorcycle jacket, but I never felt a need to nomenclature up like a biker in a club. I never had a need to wear a vest or a cut looking like thing. that would hold colors, except I didn't have any. I never had the need to do any of that. So I just find it kind of ironic and maybe even funny that you need to dress up like a biker in a motorcycle club uh, to say I'm not in a motorcycle club. So you dress up
Right.
like a biker in a motorcycle club to say I'm not in a motorcycle club, and it's crazy to me.
Do you think Sons of Anarchy and Mayans and like the Devil's Ride, stuff like that, did it have an effect on the motorcycle community?
I don't think it had an effect on the motorcycle club community any more than than the Godfather had an effect on the mafia. Um,
Mhm.
you might have got a lot of guys come out and do the cosplay thing afterward, but the motorcycle club community was what it was long before those shows came about, and they really did not um, stimulate it one way or the other, if you ask me. Now, the movie Biker Boys that I did
Mhm.
absolutely affected the motorcycle club community way more than Sons of Anarchy and those motorcycle club movies. The movie
Um,
Biker Boys reignited the African American biker scene
mhm.
and caused it to explode. It was almost dead before we made our movie, but
Mhm.
those movies, in my opinion, didn't have much of an effect.
Um, I heard you say the word cosplay. The word cosplay. I gotta touch this. What's your opinion on the twins?
On the who?
The twins.
uh, you know, those guys, and for people who might not know, it's a couple guys that have decided to attack the Hell's Angels mostly, and
Yeah.
a lot of other clubs. They have some problem with the Hell's Angels, so they have spent. And I've been meaning to interview those guys too, and so they had the nerve, the audacity to come out and attack the Hell's Angels, and the whole wide world is like, "Oh my God, you're attacking them," and nothing has happened to them. And
Mhm.
so I think that's kind of interesting. That why would the Hell's Angels even give a damn about them? Like
Right.
they're not real. They're a couple guys. My opinion is they're a couple guys on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok. Hell, they got more subscribers than I do. Don't they have like 1 million subscribers? And
Yeah,
so
something like that. Yeah.
I've only got 500,000, so they got a hell of a lot more subscribers than I got, and they're fun. I think they're fun. If what they're doing is kind of funny, it's a parody
Yeah.
on clubs, and I don't think they should be taken too seriously. I don't think they should be beaten up or anything like that. They want to form a motorcycle club of two people, so be it. Or I think they might have four now. But the thing is this: if you don't like them, you don't have to invite them into your clubhouse. If you don't like them, I think they're Americans and they're doing what Americans do, expressing themselves. That is so cool. And social media gives everybody an opportunity to have an audience, and people are watching them. I don't have a problem with them. They're not picking on my club.
So, you're, I'm going to call you a professional biker. You're very well known, respected in that community. Is that kind of behavior, what they're doing, considered dangerous amongst the community for people that are watching,
Well,
for people that would like to do that?
I would definitely call myself a professional biker since this is what I do 24 hours a day. And what they're doing is definitely would be considered dangerous, but it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be dangerous that you wear what you want to wear and you do what you want to do. So many people I have known in the military have died for people in America to be able to do exactly that. So the fact that someone would hurt them for expressing themselves is absolutely unthinkable, intolerable, and unacceptable. But I would not advise anyone to do it. You could be taking your life into your hands, and because there are some people that do not respect the values of American democracy and freedom of
Mhm.
speech, and there are some people that will hurt you for that, even though it's something that all of us get a chance to do. And it's funny is the guys that would hurt you are the ones that cry the loudest when someone challenges them about their colors or whatever it is that they're doing.
Since we're talking about this, can I ask you some very personal questions?
Ask me what you
Stuff
want.
that I just found digging across the internet.
Ask me what you want. I don't know that I'm going to answer everything, but you can ask.
Everything I'm about to ask you is stuff I dug up on the internet direct and want direct clarification from yourself. What was the whole out bad thing? There's paperwork on the internet that you were not part of the original 7. You never prospected or were a legitimate member. Can you clear this up for everybody?
Well, let's take each one on each one. You did a whole bunch of things there, so let's do each one.
What was the whole out bad thing about?
So, I ran into a political issue in my club.
Mm-hmm.
The national president of the Black Sabbath Nation, somebody I had raised as a son, who came in after I did. I had very big shoes that he could not fill, and he got himself into a particular predicament with a 1% motorcycle club, where they came down with a hell of an action against his ass. And the only person that could get him out of the problem was me. And that was from them. They said, we're not talking to anybody but BlackDragon. And so that hurt his little feelings. He also made some promises to them that in order to get out of the trouble, we were in this big meeting and they had, we were surrounded and all this kind of shit. And all the guns were out and it was really kind of crazy. And so he made some promises to them that I told him right there at the meeting not to make those promises. I tried to steer him away from that, but he was terrified like a little girl. So he made those promises that he never intended to keep. He made these promises, and then when we got out of the meeting, he went back on the promises. The entire club was pretty upset about it. Now, in all of that, he also lost a set of our colors, the national president. So I went and got those colors back. And he asked me to return the colors to him. I told him no. And he said, you're going to return these colors? And I said, no, these are Atlanta colors. You're a national president. You don't need them back. And he says, okay, well, MFer, we'll see. And a week later, there was paperwork about me being out bad, that I had caused all that trouble. And they floated some paperwork about me. So you mentioned paperwork. What is the paperwork? Have you seen it?
I saw a quick little video of it. I didn't get a chance to read it all. It went really quick.
Have you seen the paperwork? Was the question.
There was a lot of it blacked out. I looked at the paperwork, yes, but there was a lot of things that were blacked out.
Did you read the paperwork?
No, not completely.
Did you read any of it?
Bits and pieces. I saw legal names. It was a video from Wrecking Ball Bob that I seen.
So you weren't really able to read this paperwork?
No, there was a lot of blacked out, redacted stuff in it. And it was really small, and he kind of glanced by it really quick.
So, what is in the motorcycle club community? What do we consider paperwork? Were there any headings on the paperwork? Was there like?
It looked more like a court document type deal.
It looked like a court document, so you were able to read some court document kind of shit on it. There was headings or anything like that.
And there was the name of the club. It had your name. It had a bunch of blacked out shit. It had a brief thing saying that you were out bad and why. And then more blacked out shit.
Couldn't possibly be a court document because a court wouldn't put me out of a motorcycle club bad.
Correct.
So it was a Word document.
Yes.
created on somebody's computer,
Facts.
sent to Wrecking Ball Bob, a
I
known
don't know why him of all people he's
a
not even a
known
member of that
fucking
club.
racist, who a known racist and idiot, and a person not involved in any motorcycle club ever in the world, has this motherfucker ever worn any colors.
Mhm.
So this is who my club sent that document to, but nobody's read the document, nobody's seen it. It just flashed across Wrecking Ball Bob. So when you think of something like receipts,
Mhm.
a receipt is something like a court document or
Yeah.
something that would be more substantial than something a mad, pissed off, mean son of a bitch would write on a Word document. So
So
if you
why
say
would
you
they release it to
hold on a
Bob? Why wouldn't they do it themselves?
hold on a second. If you say you've seen paperwork on me, like you just did when you first
Mhm.
started, if you say you've seen paperwork on me, then I want to know what paperwork you saw and what it said. And so that is, if we're talking MC protocol, this is what you need in a motorcycle club before
Mhm.
you mention you got a receipt on somebody. You need to have seen it, you need to have read it, you need to be able to verify it. Where did it come from? In this case, it was just a damn as far as it was um
A
a
Word
Word
document,
document that could have come from anywhere, and it did come
right?
from anywhere. It came from my motorcycle club. What's the next question?
Um,
Why? You were asking a question. Why would they do that? Is that what you asked?
why would they send it to Bob, and why wouldn't they just release it themselves?
So they didn't have an internet presence. There was
Mhm.
no where would they release it to? Nobody, there's no Black Sabbath. The website people barely even watch. I don't think we've updated that website since 2009 or something. So the
Mhm.
website no one goes to, and there are a lot of guys with like pages, but there's no real. The Black Sabbath Motorcycle Club has no outlet.
Mhm.
So they decided that they would try to find every motorcycle club social media content creator
Mhm.
they could find to launch this document. Now, here was the idea, here was the impetus behind it. They felt like if they put me out bad, that I had such a huge social media presence that I would smash their asses and they would look crazy. So the
Mhm.
idea was, let's get him first. We'll throw the first salvo. We will make it look like he has done this unspeakable thing, uh, and we'll put out this paperwork. And so they fished for every social media content creator. The problem was they're all my friends. They're all
Yeah.
BlackDragon's buddies. So they couldn't find any. They went to everybody. Danny D'Lo. They went to um, Archbishop of the Diamond Effect. They went to uh, uh, my boy down in Florida, Big Bone from the Big Bone Yard. They went to Hollywood from Insane Throttle. They went to everybody out there. And most people said, this is not, this ain't no damn paperwork. This is
Mhm.
this is bullshit. The only person that they could find was the lowlife Wrecking Ball Bob, the guy
Mhm.
who would take the Iron Order's bylaws
I've seen that.
and read them over the internet and make fun of the Iron Order, but you're not even in a motorcycle club. And so you have, even though a lot of people don't like Iron Order, um, why would you disrespect people like that you don't know, that haven't done shit to you?
Mhm.
The Iron Order never did anything to that guy. He just was looking for some rah shit to jump on him about, and he was mad at me because I called him out one day for I was like, "Why are you picking on those guys? That's a whole motorcycle club."
Mhm.
And I talked to those guys. I said, "Why don't you go find that little wimp and stomp his ass?" And they were like, "Well, Dragon, we're not forget we're not letting that guy take up no space and no rent in our heads, no space rent free.
Mhm.
He can get on his channel and talk about whatever he wants to talk about." I think I would have probably had a tougher time were he talking like that about my motorcycle club. But they made a point. That guy is on social media. He can do whatever he wants. Nobody listens to that guy, and nobody knows that guy.
Mhm.
And he certainly doesn't matter. He wouldn't do that shit to the Hells Angels.
Mhm.
He wouldn't do what the Twins are doing to the Hells Angels. He don't have those kind of balls. So he wants to pick on small guys, and he saw an opportunity to get after me.
Yeah.
And so they sent him this little paperwork, and this little pussy ran with it. And the interesting thing about it is, um, uh, the reason that I have not sued his ass for slander is he don't own shit,
Mhm.
or I would absolutely have it. But I talked to some other folks that sued him recently when he actually did some stuff to a little girl and called her school and threatened that school or something like that. I don't know the exact thing that happened, but the police were called and everything like that, and they were
What?
suing his ass, and he didn't have shit. So that's the only reason I didn't sue him for slander, for lying on me like that. But it really did.
Mhm.
It 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 hurt my feelings. He got that in. He got that swing in. Not him. He's a dirtbag and a racist, and
Mhm.
and so those guys exist. But it hurt my feelings that my club would do that to me. That would send my shit to him. But that's because he was the only person that would do it. Him and the dirtbag little lice by the name of uh, 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 Marcel Tillman, Big Cell Marcel Tillman,
Mhm.
Big Cell from Fast Harleys Only. So those were the two guys that ran with it. Um, and so we know why it happened. This guy, this national president, had put egg all over himself and gotten his ass thrown out of the state of Georgia by the one percenters. The whole Black
Wow.
Sabbath nation thrown out. So he had to blame it on somebody. So he tried to blame it on me. Hadn't worked for him. Next question. Keep going.
They said that you never prospected and were never a part of the original seven, so you were never a legitimate member.
So what you're doing now is conflating two issues, okay? So what they were talking about was never part of the original seven. I absolutely was never part of the original seven of the Black Sabbath Nation that started
Mhm.
in 1972. I would have been 9 years old. So
Mhm.
there's no way I could have been part of the original seven of the Black Sabbath Nation. What they were talking about is that I was not part of the original seven of the Atlanta, Georgia Black Sabbath.
See, they
And
didn't make that clear.
well, they did make it clear. You just didn't understand it.
Okay.
In when Big Cell said he was never part of the original seven of Atlanta, he did say that. You just
Okay.
probably didn't catch it. So you conflated two things. So the only
My bad.
original seven I could have been a part of was the Atlanta chapter that I started. So let's just take each one. The
Okay.
original seven of the Atlanta, Georgia chapter, the the first national president and the founder of the Black Sabbath Nation has said on multiple occasions, but I'll make them available and you can ask them yourself. Did
Mhm.
BlackDragon start the original seven? Let me put it like this. I started the Atlanta chapter of the Black Sabbath here in Georgia in 1999 with the permission of one of the founders of the Outcast Motorcycle Club Nation Atlanta chapter. Skull gave me
Mhm.
permission in 1999. So if I'm lying, the Outcast Motorcycle Club Nation now has this lie straight up coming from my mouth, and they will deal with me accordingly. Skull gave me permission to start the club in 1999. And then
Mhm.
in 2009, 10 years later, when the Atlanta uh, Council uh, the Georgia Council came into being, they required all the clubs to come back to them to be recertified and all that kind of stuff. And it was in September of 2009 that I went to Skull once again. And I said, Skull, the Georgia Council saying I got to go to them and get their permission to start the club. And Skull said, you tell those MFers that I, Skull, blessed you and you continue to be blessed. So this is
Mhm.
well documented history that I started this club here in Georgia, as well as some other almost 30 clubs across the country,
Oh,
chapters
wow.
across the country. So when you get a guy like Marcel Tillman who
Mhm.
gets on national television and tells that lie, but he doesn't tell the lie with any backup, no receipts. And this is
Mhm.
why it's important not to believe people that don't have receipts. I have looked at the bylaws and I talked to the real founder, and BlackDragon was not him. Oh, wow. That's news. Who was the real founder that you talked to? What was his name? When did you talk to him? Where is he? Let's put him up for public discourse. Tell
Mhm.
us how you started the Black Sabbath in Atlanta and Black Dragon didn't. Tell us who you went to get the blessing. Put it out there. Put it out there. Call the name of the person that gave you. Say Skull of the Mighty Outcast Motorcycle Club Nation gave you permission in 2000 or 1999. Say he gave you permission again in 2009. Say those
Mhm.
things. If that happened, let us verify the truth. But they will never do no shit like that. They will only put out false narratives so that people like you will continue to ask me this stuff, and it will probably go on the rest of my life. But my receipts are out to be seen and heard,
Mhm.
and nobody, even the Georgia council, the man who was running it at the time, his name was Bolo, who became the leader. He was the president of Atlanta at the time. He became the leader uh, of the outcast nomads, and I
Mhm.
think he even became national sergeant at arms. That I can call these names with no fear. These people know me. Bolo and I went round and round with me trying to get my club started here in this town. So everybody knows who I am. The liar, but out in social media they don't know. Uh,
Mhm.
and people like you don't know, but hey, you can call these folks up. You can. I wouldn't put these names out here. I would be terrified to put these names out if it weren't true.
They said you never prospected, so you weren't a legitimate member.
So this again is not the truth. I prospected for my hang around period and prospect period together combined was maybe 8 or 9 years. I came to the Black Sabbath much like a Hunter Thompson. I was a
Mhm.
photographer, and I came with a big, huge, uh, back then I had a recorder, but the recorder it was a VHS recorder, so it was
Mhm.
a big ass recorder and a camera around my neck, and so I came to the Black Sabbath as kind of like a reporter and a photographer, and so most people that knew me from 1989 when I first
Mhm.
came call me. If you talk to any of those old folks, they call me John Bunch. They call me by my whole name because for years that's who I was, John Bunch. And I hung around the club and I didn't have a motorcycle, so I couldn't join. So I just hung around the club for the longest, from like 1989 maybe to like 1995. Uh, Working behind the bar, taking pictures. I just became part of the family. So most people know me from that time period. They call me John Bunch. That's why when you saw that video, it was John Bunch this, John Bunch that.
Yeah.
That's what and old school people from the old Black Sabbath still to this day call me John Bunch. Um, when I finally got my motorcycle, um, then it was another maybe 4 years or so before I patched over. And so I prospected that entire time. And I
Mhm.
wore a prospect patch and I went everywhere in a prospect patch. One of the reasons I couldn't get patched in is a lot of guys didn't like me. I
Oh,
didn't
wow.
speak, I didn't speak, I speak like this. I didn't have the African American dialect
Mhm.
particularly. Um, And so a lot of people were suspect of me. They thought I might be a snitch or something. And
Mm-hmm.
the founder says, you're just really too smart. A lot of guys didn't like you because you were very smart. I earned my way into the club finally because the club got shut down by the police, and I had my own newspaper at the time, and I used my newspaper and attacked the police over and over again until they decided to come sit down and have a meeting.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, "Yeah, you got to stop this guy, BlackDragon, from making all these posts about us. This guy John Bunch from making all these posts about us." Now, check this out. I was never a prospect. Okay, so my first office ever
Mm-hmm.
was at the Black Sabbath Motorcycle Club. The father of the Black Sabbath, Paul Pet Perry. I
Mm-hmm.
was a prospect. Would you give a regular dude a office in your motorcycle club? I was a prospect, and I told him, I was like, I want to have my own newspaper. And he
Mm-hmm.
said, "You want to have your own newspaper?" I said, "Yeah." So he took the club. We had two pieces, 4278 Market Street, 4280 Market Street. He cut the
Mm-hmm.
club in half and walled the club in half so that I could have my own newspaper at the Black Sabbath clubhouse. Half
Mm-hmm.
of the clubhouse. Can you imagine what that would be like if your national president walked in and said, "We're going to cut the club in half and give it to John,"
Wow.
and he wasn't a member? That it doesn't make any sense. So we took the San Diego News Link newspaper that was owned by my best friend William Patrick DeShields,
Mm-hmm.
and we started bunch publishing right there at the first office I ever had in my life was given to me by my motorcycle club. So some son of a bitch that says I never prospected, like, uh, okay, so they just took a regular old dude and off the street and just gave him his own office. I mean, it doesn't even make sense when people say this kind of
Mm-hmm.
nonsense. So they thought they would float that out there to destroy my name and image. He never prospected. He was never a member. He was never part of the original seven. These are things that they say, rah shit. This is
Mm-hmm.
rah stuff they say to people to get them to rah and say,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh, he never prospected, so he wasn't one." But I absolutely did prospect. Now, the problem comes from one man. His name is Mad Mitch. And
Mm-hmm.
what happened, like I told you, I could never get voted in. That's why I was a prospect for so long, for so many years. For whatever reason, whenever it came down to the vote, the club would just say, "No, he ain't good enough. We ain't voting him in." It'd always be
Mm-hmm.
one or two dudes. And uh, after the time when the club got shut down, the national president said, BlackDragon used his newspaper and got our club open again. And
Mm-hmm.
so we're going to vote for him, and there will be no votes. And anybody that wants to vote no can meet me out back. And then the winner of that gets to say whether it's a no vote or not. So that's where the problem came in because nobody went out back with him. So that's how I got voted in. Now, that day, one guy came to me, the only guy that's really still left. His name was Mad Mitch. And he came to me and he goes, "As far as I'm concerned, you will never be a brother." And I said, "Why is that?" He says, "Because I didn't vote for you." I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Well, the national president said he's not taking any no votes. So if you don't, if you want to vote no, you got to go out back." I said, "Well, did you go out back?" He said, "No." I said, "So you didn't say no and you didn't go out back. How is this my fucking problem?"
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "I wasn't in the meeting. I didn't get to vote. National comes out and tells me to go put my colors on and hands me my colors and says, 'You got 24 hours to put them on after the meeting.' I went and put my colors on. If you got a fucking issue with that, bro, that's on you and the national." So this guy tells me he'll never call me a brother. So this story didn't come out until till 20 years later. He tells some of these guys, these new guys to the club, He was never a member. Well, they took never a member and turned that into never a prospect. But there are many, 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 many people who saw me prospect in San Diego.
Hmm.
At first, the story was he left San Diego a prospect and came back a national president. So for the longest time, people were saying we never knew when his prospectship was over. Now it's I never prospected at all. It's just funny how the story changes. Here's the thing. Let's just say I never prospected. Let's just say that.
Hmm.
And let's just say that um, I never was a member. As a non-member, never prospected, I wore the national president hat for damn near 10 years.
Hmm.
And every one of those people, including the guy who said I would never be a member, every one of them called me national president. As a matter of fact, I have a letter from that guy. If you want to talk about receipts, I have a letter from that guy when he resigned from the club one year. He got so pissed off at me. He resigned from the club. And in that letter, he addressed me as national president. I refused to accept his resignation. I probably should have accepted it. But so even he called me national president. So I rode all over this country. I started this motorcycle club in city to city. I faced one percenters. I was surrounded. I was threatened. My life was put on the line, and I built this club from coast to coast. So would
Hmm.
that not eventually did I deserve some recognition anytime? Even if those things you say about me are true, every one of those people that was on there saying that shit that you saw, I recruited every one of those people and brought
Hmm.
them in the club and made them officers and all kinds of other things. The only people that I didn't were those old guys that you saw on that video. If you saw that video, those old guys, and one of those guys, they couldn't even get their lies straight. If you go back and look at the
Hmm.
video, he says, "Let me tell you about John E. Bunch II, who came to this club in 1989." Phew. Wow, it was right there. He said it out of his own mouth. Go back and listen. Whereas the other guy says, "Black Dragon, John Bunch hasn't been in this club longer than me. I got here in 1992. He wasn't then. Then the guy just 7 minutes earlier said, 'Let me tell you about Black Dragon, the guy I brought to the club that's been here since 1989.'" So, uh, yeah, they said those things, but go look at the video. It's on Hollywood's channel, and you can just see these drunk guys online just telling one lie after another. They couldn't even get the lie straight between themselves. But
Hmm.
I'll answer your questions. What else?
After all that how bad mess was all said and done, were you treated any differently on the motorcycle set?
Only by rah-rah people, only by social media people. People who knew my get down, uh, real people in the motorcycle set. You're not supposed to even talk to a guy that was put out bad.
Hmm.
Outcast Motorcycle Club, the guys who blessed me here, called me directly and said, "Bro, any motorcycle club you want to start here in Georgia, including if you want to restart your Black Sabbath, you have our blessing. Nobody's going to mess with you." I was called to uh, still do meeting. National presidents of motorcycle clubs all over the country still called me, especially when they were trying to do their peace treaties and stuff, and asked me to be part of it. I was asked to be a host speaker at the one of the largest gatherings of motorcycle clubs, the PROC, the Professional Motorcycle Club convention,
Cool.
and invited me to be an anchor speaker, and just all over the place. Several 1% motorcycle clubs reached out and asked me to become a member, and motorcycle clubs all over the country asked me to become a member. So my treatment has been exceptional for a guy that was so called put out bad. Nobody's turned me away. Nobody's asked me to leave their motorcycle clubhouse. Nobody has I've been given guest appearances and speaking appearances. Many clubs have paid me to come and I go do guest things at clubs all the time, and they pay for my travel and they pay me to come and teach and speak, and my book sales. As a matter of fact, I was only at like 89,000 subscribers at that time on YouTube. And I went in 1 month's time from 89,000 subscribers to 257,000 or something, some number like that.
Mhm.
And then I went over 100,000 on TikTok and 120,000 on Facebook. I went to 500,000 subscribers across all of my social
Wow.
media channels just almost overnight. So as a biker in a motorcycle club, if you get put out bad, it's supposed to be uh, the terminal thing, and it wasn't that for me. But
Mhm.
my get down has been the same for now 37 years, and I have so many letters from so many people around the world about how my commentary, writing, books, education, social media channels have changed their lives. They weren't buying that shit, even though my
Mhm.
my club tried to spin it, and it wasn't my club. It was the leaders, 5 or 6 dudes that ran the club that tried to make this shit happen, and it didn't work for them, and it didn't turn out well for them.
You mentioned you were asked to become a member of all kinds of different clubs. Would we ever see another patch on Dragon's back?
Say again?
Would we ever see another patch on Dragon's back?
Yeah, I have decided to start the Black Sabbath Motorcycle Club back up here in Georgia.
Oh wow, they're good with that.
Huh?
They're cool with that.
No, they're not cool with that. But the founder of the Black Sabbath Nation, Paul Pep Perry, the
Mhm.
father, told me, you were not given a trial. You were not given an opportunity to defend those lies. So you can't be put out of our motorcycle club. Our bylaws don't allow that. You're still a member, whether some of those sons of bitches recognize you or not. So we have basically lost almost every club we had on the East Coast.
Mhm.
When the national president pulled this unseemly thing and tried to dominate people that didn't agree with him and throw those people out of the club and all that, all the chapters just quit. And they came and they turned their colors into dun 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 me.
Oh wow.
They came and they turned all their colors over to me, especially when the club told the lie and said, I created the turtle shell without anyone's permission and went against the club. All these lies they told. So the guy said, well, if BlackDragon created the turtle shell and he did it without anybody's permission, which is not true. The founder gave me permission to do that. If he did that, then why are you guys telling us you want these turtle shells back? We're going to give them to the guy you lied and said created them inappropriately. So they're his turtle shells, not yours. So they gave them all back to me. And then they left. And the national president, like I said, things didn't go well. He just quit in shame. Not too long ago. I stepped
Mhm.
down. I'm going to retire. Yeah, you lost everything. Everything I built for you, you lost it. And you can't wear colors in Georgia. You put colors in Georgia, you got a problem. Put colors on here in Georgia. So what was there for him to do? He tried everything he could to destroy one club brother and wound up destroying himself. Crazy, isn't it?
So
Let me get some hand claps in on that. All right, go
let's
ahead.
go. So with all this stuff that happened, what does brotherhood mean and look like for Black Dragon?
Brotherhood hasn't changed. You know, brotherhood, Cain slew Abel, if you believe in Bible verses and things like that. Cain slew Abel. Um, so in brotherhood, there will be shitty things. The guy that did this to me was like a son to me. I slept at his home. I knew his children. His children call me uncle. I know his wife. I know his mother. I was there basically holding his fucking hand when he put his mama in the grave. I stood there with him and his brother and held their shoulders and held their hands as they cried, as they laid their mama to rest who died from COVID. I've been there for so many major events that have happened in this man's life, including saving his ass when the one percenters were going to take him out. But still, because of his inability to master his ego, or his inability to it's crazy when you look at the Bible verses, when you look at the story of David and Saul.
Mm-hmm.
And Saul, David comes and he kills the Philistine, he kills the giant, he slays him with a rock and wins all this stuff for this king. And the king loves David until they're riding into town and the women are singing, "Look at Saul, who's killed his thousands." And he's got his chest up and he's all happy. He's riding. "Yes, I have killed thousands." And then they sing, "And look at David, who's killed his tens of thousands." And Saul could not take that shit. He loved David, but he was jealous of him at the same time. And that caused him to chase this man and try to kill him so many times until the angel of God killed Saul. The story is about brotherhood. You can be brothers with someone and love them and be in battle with them. Me and this guy have been in battle together. But the jealousy and the hatred and the extreme jealousy can sometimes take over and make you not remember any of that. And so you act upon the jealousy and the hatred and your inability to accept the fact that this person's just a little bit better than you.
Mm-hmm.
And understanding those pieces of brotherhood lets you understand the human condition so that you don't get turned off by brotherhood. You understand that there's a season with everything. Like my dog just died.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And I love that damn dog. I loved it so much. I spent a lot of time still to this day crying about that dog. But would I rather not have it in my life? Oh my goodness, love of dogs is only fleeting because 1 year for us is 7 years for them. So you're gonna outlive them all the time, and they're gonna die. But would I not have the love of the dog? That just those big brown eyes and how he used to look at me and love me and come jump on me and jump in my arms, and how he would tear anybody up that looked at me crazy. I wouldn't give that up just because in the end, the dog is going to be gone because they don't live as long as we do.
Mm-hmm.
Brotherhood is like that. There's going to be good parts of brotherhood and there's going to be bad parts of brotherhood. And so, yes, I was absolutely hurt. And I absolutely was depressed. And I absolutely didn't ride for a year. And I absolutely walked around rudderless, like a dog with no tail, like a ship with no rudder, for a while. And now I'll rebuild. Just like somebody who loses everything in their house. Like the guy who here in, I might have been Texas someplace, he had this little place where these girls had a girls' camp. And the rain and the flood came in and killed like 22 of the campers, of the girls and the counselors and all these people. And they blame him, and it's all his fault. Storms come. And this year he tried to get a license to reopen, and everybody was against it. So he's going to wait another year, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to reopen the camp because we had 50 years of good times, and one storm came and washed everything away. What do we do with the American spirit? We rebuild. We rebuild. We remake. We try to make it better, bigger, faster. I always remember Steve Austin, the $6 Million Man. You might be too young for that. But that was,
I remember Austin.
That was a television program we had, and he got crashed up in a space accident. And they said, "Gentlemen, we have the technology. We can rebuild him, make him stronger, faster, better than he ever was before." And so that's what I'll do. I'll rebuild another version of the Black Sabbath Nation, and I
Let's
will make
go.
it bigger, better, and faster than it was before, more efficient, and the brotherhood stronger, and make the rules better where people can't put people out without trials and things like that. And as long as there's breath in me and God has given me strength, conviction of character, and health, we'll just keep rebuilding and moving forward.
Just why you said I might be too young. I was actually born in 1990, so you were joining your club before I was even born. And today's actually my birthday. I'm spending part of my birthday with BlackDragon, so let's fucking go.
Hey man, happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was in my motorcycle club for decades before any of those people, including Wrecking Ball Bob, could ever say those negative, nasty things about me that they said.
Mhm.
So I've learned a lot from that. I write these books and stuff. And one of the things that was happening a lot were a lot of guys that had been put out bad from their clubs, but had no voices,
Mhm.
would call me up and say, BlackDragon, I've been put out of the club. What do I do? And I didn't have words for them because I hadn't been, I'd say shit like, fight, you got to fight. But I didn't know how to tell them how. It
Mhm.
hadn't happened to me. I think God has let me live through everything I've lived through, because if I'm going to be a voice and a voice for Ride, and I'm going to be this teacher and this thing that people look at, if that's what's going to be me, then like a blues player, how do you play the blues or country and Western music and you ain't never had no blues?
Mhm.
If you ain't never had her leave you with the kids, dun, 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 dun. You picked a fine time to leave me, Lucille. You got to think about it. 4 hungry children and crops in the field? Damn. If you ain't had that happen to you, you can't sing that with passion. But the first time you've had that happen to you, well, you can sing that song. You know the loneliness, you know the pain, and perhaps you can sing someone out of that, out of the
Mhm.
desire to commit suicide, because you can tell them, no, bro, I've lived it, my man. I've lived it, and I can tell you there is light on the other side.
Wow.
And so that's my word to anybody that's been put out bad. And I love this kid, Harley Gwendon.
This way I was going to bring him up in my next question. I saw your interview with him the other day. And he said something about he's looking at doing a huge patch over, and it got me to thinking, what would happen if like all the clubs kind of just folded together under one patch?
Oh, I mean, it could be great, but it could also be great if all the churches in the world folded together under all churches, so everybody was a Catholic or something. But it's just not ever going to happen,
Mhm.
because different people need different kind of leaderships and different things from clubs. Like there are uh, alcohol anonymous clubs, there are substance abuse clubs. If you've never abused substances, do you need to be in an alcoholics anonymous club? You don't. There are clubs that advocate for children, like Baca. But if you don't
We
like
got that
kids,
here.
why would you be in a Baca club? Like, it doesn't do anything for you. Like, I don't really give a damn about kids. I want to ride. So
Mhm.
there's gonna always be, there are especially clubs for guys that ride Harleys. But if you're a guy who doesn't ride a Harley, why would you be in a Harley only club? I don't even like those things. Why would I ride one?
Mhm.
So, or if you're a guy that likes victories or Indians or whatever. So there will never be one big club for anybody. What would be good is if they could all get along. No matter
Right.
what club you were in, we are not going to fight each other. We're not going to kill each other, and we're not going to give law enforcement and communities reasons to get rid of us. Now,
Facts.
that is something that I think would be more accomplishable.
Um, when Black Dragon's out riding, what does your playlist look like? Like, what are you listening to?
So I either listen to reggae, culture
Mhm.
reggae, not really dancehall so much, but absolutely culture. People like King, Yellow Man, Bob Marley, Peter Tosh, Culture. Oh my goodness. The Mighty Sparrow, uh, uh, all those guys. But I do listen to some Bingy Man, definitely Buju Banton, Elephant Man, guys like that. These are older guys now. And if I'm not listening to reggae, I like blues, BB King, and all those guys. And I will be listening to hardcore soul, like Frankie Beverly and Maze, and those guys. And I love all those guys, Confunction and Ohio Players, and all those guys.
I just heard you mention BB King. I've never listened to the dude, but if you go watch my H-Town Loki interview, he talks about like how much of an impact he had on Loki and like getting to meet and talk to him before he passed away and all that. Who's your favorite band or artist?
Well, so I have favorite bands in all those different genres. I never didn't really get to talk to you about the rap. I love rap music as well, and hip hop. So I listen to all these different genres when I'm writing. But probably one of my favorite bands, like I have different bands in different genres, but one of my favorite would be Frankie Beverly featuring Maze, or Maze featuring Frankie Beverly. So I like Frankie Beverly and Maze, Luther Vandross. It's just too many to mention. I don't have a favorite. Michael Jackson. I just went to go see Michael Jackson movie. I love Michael Jackson, everything he did. I love Dizzy Gillespie. I love all these. I just love music. And then you got this Canadian rapper dude up there.
Hercules?
Yes.
Let's
Say that
go.
name again.
Hercules.
Yes, that guy. Oh my God. He's
huge here in Canada.
On fire, my God. Listening to that guy, man, I'm just like, that guy almost makes me cry. And that guy's had it. He seems like he's had hell out there.
Go listen to his new song, Toy Soldiers. Like that hits your heart hard.
Oh my gosh. So I love his stuff too. I'll play his stuff when I'm rolling down the road. And I've gotten a chance to talk to him. He's come on my
What?
Yes.
That's dope.
He follows my TikTok, and
what?
Yes, sir. I got a chance to talk to him. I was like,
what's that like?
Oh, it's I get excited too. I'm a little kid too. Like,
bro, I'm fanboying right now. That guy's dope. Like,
I'm like, oh, Mark at least followed me. He sent me a like. Get the hell out of here. So yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah, it was cool, man. It was cool. And then I listen to him all the time. I don't know if he a lot of times if I like his stuff, he'll put a heart on my stuff. So
that's dope.
He knows who I am. Mark knows who I am. So
big salute. Let's fucking go. You've traveled around a lot. You ever find any good food places you really like?
Yeah, but my food has changed because I have diabetes, and I'm trying to live, so I don't get to do it anymore like I used to. So now I'm really flirting hard with vegetarianism, and my food now is so bland and unimportant and just I one time I went on a diet for 40 days. I didn't eat any food for 40 days.
What?
Yeah. And 40 days and 40 nights. I didn't eat any food. It was crazy. I went on this thing called the maple syrup diet. And
sounds Canadian. Let's go.
You just basically drink grade A maple syrup, and you drink salt water, and you mix that with cayenne pepper and a bunch of shit. And the salt water, if you never had a salt water flush, it's crazy. You drink this salt water as much as you can stand,
Ew.
And within 30 minutes, you don't leave the house because in 30 minutes, because your body's not going to retain the salt water. In
Yeah.
30 minutes, you're going to go sit on that toilet. And
Perfect.
everything bad in you, especially with that cayenne pepper, it's coming out. And so
Okay.
the only thing that I ate was what that I had was this grade A, grade B maple syrup or whatever. It's
Mhm.
called the lemonade diet. And I did this thing. And I found out that I got very depressed because food is part of culture, it's part of living. And
Mhm.
most people spend at least 3 or 4 hours a day making food. Like you're going to make food for breakfast, then when you get for lunch you're going to have food, and then when you get home it's a ritual to make food to eat, and then you go to bed.
Right.
And if you take the ritual of food making, eating, acquisition, if you take that away, you got a lot of free time on your hands with nothing to do. So if all you're doing is making a shake and that's it, and you're not eating, and there's no
Mhm.
ritual, there's no food ritual, there's no you got to acquire food, you're not shopping, you're not doing any of that. And you got
Mhm.
all this free time on your hands, and you can become very depressed from missing what it takes to get food. Depending on who you are, you might have to go hunt for your food. That's another
Yep.
2 hours. Got to go hunt for it, clean it, prepare it. Man, that's 4 or 5 hours gone.
Right.
And all I'm doing is drinking a shake or whatever the case may be. So now, I say all that to say, now that I have become once again a person that has to watch my diet, count my calories, I take these shots for diabetes. That most people take these shots to lose weight. The
Mhm.
Wegovy and all that. It was originally developed for people like me with diabetes, and it keeps you from eating foods that spike your diabetes, and that makes you lose weight. And so people have been using it for weight loss. But it was really originally designed for people like me. Once you take that shot, you can't eat. You can't eat normally. It makes you sick. It makes
Oh,
you so sick. You fall on the ground. You got you got diarrhea like you've never seen. It's horrible. So you just stop eating. So I love food. I just don't get to eat it anymore like I used to.
uh,
And so that leaves big holes like, oh my God, I'm so depressed. I want that shake and those french fries. And I want that big triple burger over there. Oh my
right.
God. But I tell you what I did do recently. I went to Louisiana and we ate those uh shelled things, oysters. We ate those
Okay.
oysters like dogs. I had more oysters, sh- fried oysters, steamed oysters. Oh my God. I can't go there. I can't spend much time there. It's just too much. And beignets.
Um,
I had beignets. Ah. Ah.
what inspired you to start writing books?
I come from a family of writers.
Mhm.
Um, Everybody in my family were educators. My my great two greats or three greats. Grandfather was a black Texas Ranger and
Mhm.
bishop in the AME Church. He started over 400 black and Indian schools.
Mhm.
And my aunts and grand aunts and great grand aunts and great granduncles were all educators. They were principals of schools and teachers and lawyers and that sort of thing. So they were all writers. I come from a family of prolific writers. Everybody was a writer. They wrote books, instruction manuals, training manuals, and all of that. And so it's in the blood. And my
Mhm.
mother was a writer. My mother was a teacher, a professor of English at Cal State Northridge, uh,
Mhm.
and taught English. And this is why I speak the way I do. So my whole family writers, educators, and it just came down on me as well. I spent in my Navy, when I was in the Navy, I was a master training specialist. This is the highest level of trainer you can reach in the Navy. So I
Mhm.
taught officers how to fight submarines in submarine warfare, and I helped to write the programs that ran the submarine trainers and I taught how to deploy nuclear weapons, and I taught how to deploy nuclear missiles and all this submarine warfare fighting strategy. And I wrote all those courses. So I also learned how to write in the Navy. I went to Navy writing school, curriculum development school,
Oh, neat.
and I became, like I said, a master training specialist. So I went to the highest level of military training and writing that you could go to, and it was instrumental, like in getting my degree. My degree was in workforce education with a development training education and training education development was the minor. So I've always those were writing degrees, and I've always been a writer. Even when I was in engineering, I was a writer. They always wanted me to do the writing. So I worked for Eris International as a technical writer in the engineering and quality assurance departments as a major technical writer. And all these books are for me really are technical training manuals, the same ones I used to write in the Navy for the Navy. And then for Eris later, which was a major telecommunications company. And then I just came out and started writing the same things for motorcycle clubs. Basically, how-to books. I've been writing how-to books my whole entire life.
How many books do you got out now?
I got 11 out now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. At BlackDragonsGear.com. I've got 11 books out now. My latest book is called the Motorcycle Chaplains. It's the Chaplain's Handbook, Motorcycle Club Chaplain's Handbook. And it's a book to teach chaplains how to run motorcycle, how be chaplains in motorcycle clubs. But I also have, I've written 3 this year. So this is the Robert's Rules for Motorcycle Clubs and the Art of War for Motorcycle Clubs. So I wrote 3 books in January. And then I've taken a break now. We're getting ready to go to July. So I might write 3 more.
Oh, wow.
Or 4 more before the end of the year. So maybe 7 by the end of the year.
So I found you on YouTube, like very, very first found you in my early to mid 20s. I've been following you that long. I just turned 36 today. So
holy Moses.
Yeah. But what first brought you to social media?
We were losing members in the Black Sabbath Motorcycle Club Nation. And so you got to understand that I was in computers in the Navy. So in the Navy, I was a fire control technician. And fire control technicians, we are the guys that shoot the nuclear weapons. So I went in 1983 or 4, and I went to Navy computer school, which was 2 years long. And so, trying to get out of school when you went to Navy computer school, it was like 2 years long. It was 11, I think I was 1182, and then I became an 1187, which was, we were called computer electricians, I think is what we were called. And so we were on mainframe computers, which back then they were huge. And these mainframe computers ran the submarine. And it's also what we used to shoot the nuclear weapons. So we had databases and everything. We had GPS decades before you ever saw a civilian with a GPS. As a matter of fact, I was so terrified when they made their first Garmins. I thought it was the end of the world. I was like, you can't be serious. You're going to let civilians have this shit? I mean, come on. You can't be serious. Like, that's how we circumnavigated the world with GPS. We had this before the world had it. So this technology stuff I have been on the internet since it was called DARPANET, since before it was www, before it was graphical, before it was a graphical interface. I've been on social media that long. I was dating on social media back in in like 84 or something.
Wow.
I was on social media back when there was a thing called CompuServe. That was before AOL. There was CompuServe, and then there was uh, uh, several before there was an AOL, and then AOL went on to uh, MySpace, and then MySpace went on, and
To Facebook.
then you had Facebook, and then Facebook. There was Instagram and
Now it's
Blue
TikTok.
Sky, and on and on and on. So I was on it since the very beginning. So I was already on the internet
Hmm.
when motorcycle clubs started getting on the internet.
Yep.
I had my own newspaper. Like I said, the Black Sabbath gave me my first office, so I was producing news magazines. I had the Black Sabbath Online, Black Sabbath MC Online
Oh
was
wow.
like one of my first motorcycle magazines, and it was online. It was on Facebook or whatever, and so I was already on when the motor. What matter of fact, when we first got on, when there was not even any motorcycle clubs online when we first got on. So I was able to translate that as soon as motorcycle clubs started getting online. I
Hmm.
was already there, and so I first started my messaging online because the Black Sabbath was losing so many people to all the other motorcycle clubs.
Hmm.
'Cause they were always doing dumb shit. And so it dawned on me, if I could begin training Black Sabbath people, that we wouldn't keep losing them to like the Chosen Few and other motorcycle clubs in the area. All of our
Hmm.
great guys would go to other people's motorcycle clubs. And they were already trained. We had already taught them how to ride and everything, and we just kept losing all these people. And that's where the book Prospects Bible came from. My first book I ever wrote in 2014, and it has been my number one bestseller. No matter what book I write, they don't seem to be able to outdo the Prospects Bible. Uh,
Hmm.
Although I've tried and tried. Now, Motorcycle Club Protocol 101 is very close, but Prospects Bible is still, after all these years, still beating everything. And I wrote Prospects Bible really for the Black Sabbath Motorcycle Club to because it dawned on me, if I'm teaching the kids, the new guys, if I'm
Hmm.
can start teaching them, we can build in them people that will never leave the club because they'll know the right way to come in. Turns out, like a preacher's kid, the preacher can save all the kids in the world, but he can't save his own. So it
Hmm.
turns out that the world starts reading Prospects Bible, but my own club, not so much.
So you've been doing this a long time, and you mentioned like helping the new kids and all that. So I'm new to this playground here of doing this. Like when I found the internet, I caught the tail end of MySpace before we went to Facebook. So, but I'm new to doing these interviews and stuff like that, and I consider you an OG around here. What kind of advice would you give me on this?
I'd say keep going like you're doing. Great questions you have. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Ask the tough stuff. Ask the hard stuff like you did tonight.
Hmm.
Be researched. Um, if you're going to accuse somebody of something or say something, have read those documents back and forth. Know
Hmm.
them like the back of your hand. Receipts are important. So
Hmm.
it's more important that you would say something like, and let's say in our interview, I
Yeah.
read this document backward and forward, and these are the problems I find with it. So you are just as familiar with
Hmm.
the things that you're doing as the person that you're interviewing. This can
Hmm.
keep people from BSing you, pulling the wool over your eyes. Let nobody control your thing and what you have to say. uh, it's okay to let a person know what kind of questions you might ask, which
Hmm.
you did not do in my case. But it's not okay to let somebody feel like they can control the questions or tell you what to
Hmm.
ask or what not to ask. Sometimes people say, "Well, I'm not going to have a discussion about how bad."
Hmm.
And so you have to make sure to say, well, we would have talked about out bad, but you said you didn't want to discuss it. So that way people know that you're well-rounded and fair. And the other part
Yeah.
about being fair is always include the other side of the story if you can.
Okay.
There's two sides to every story. And anybody that wants to come on and give their side, and that's the next thing. Don't be anybody's mouthpiece. I will let you tell your story, but
Mhm.
I'm not going to put my reputation on the line telling your story for you.
Mhm.
So all this, I can't talk because I'm a one percenter, and if I say something, yeah, well, I'm not getting ready to come out and say this shit about this other club, and you're not going to stand behind it. If you'll
Mhm.
stand behind it, I'll give you the platform, but I won't carry your message for you because that's not my responsibility. I'll
Mhm.
report both sides of the story, blah, 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 but I'm not going to carry your message for you. So those are the things I would tell you. Be real, be honest, go after the people. If you say you're going to do it, do it. All the normal stuff we learn in motorcycle clubs, and be intelligent about what you're researching. If you've ever seen me interview a person, I'm intelligent. I've done my research on them, and if I haven't, I'll tell them.
Mhm.
I haven't researched this as much as I want, so I'm going to ask you some questions that might seem kind of stupid, but I haven't researched it, and yeah, and that just clears the playing field. Try to be as upfront as possible, man, and accept it when you make mistakes, and when you screw
Mhm.
up, be the first one to apologize. You'll be fine.
So who or what inspires BlackDragon?
I'm inspired by the father of the mighty Black Sabbath Motorcycle Club Nation, Paul Pep Perry. I live
Mhm.
every single day to make him smile and make him proud of me. He's 78 years old, and he is the first man. I didn't grow up with a father. He's one of the first men. I've had a few men in my life look after me. He's been probably doing it the longest, 37 years now.
Mhm.
Um, who he cared about me enough to give me a chance. He gave me an opportunity. I wasn't a CEO or anything. I didn't create a huge farm or nothing. About the biggest thing I've ever done is been a national president of a motorcycle club. That's
Mhm.
it. Now, Trump became a president of the United States. Obama became a president of the United States. Trudeau became the president of Canada,
Yep.
or wherever it was he was, Canada, right?
Yep.
So these guys did big, 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 big things. My thing wasn't so big, but it was big for me.
Mhm.
And wherever I go in the entire world, I can't be anywhere in the world that somebody that loves motorcycles doesn't come up to me and say, "You're a Black Dragon, and I follow you, and you've helped my life." And
Mhm.
so, in the small thing, the small sphere of motorcycle clubs and the motorcycle club world, small, but I know I've helped people, which is what I told God I would do.
Mhm.
So that inspires me. It inspires me that people listen to what I have to say. It inspires me that people have learned from my mistakes and learned from my glory and learned from my tragedies. And I have just tried to be worthy of that admiration and of those people watching me. And one of the things that has inspired me the most was watching the father of the mighty Black Sabbath Motorcycle Club Nation lead
Mhm.
by example, and through his triumphs and through his failures and through his ups and through his downs, I have been able to watch him and learn about him more and more every day, and how he has been a true brother and a true father-like figure to me. That's who I want to emulate most in this world. Other than that, my mother, my sisters, my wife, uh, my children. These are people that inspire me and that I
Mhm.
love the most.
I saw you had done a couple of videos on Masonic, I don't know exactly how to pronounce it, but on Masonic clubs. Are you a Mason?
I am not,
Okay.
but I have a lot of Masons under me, and so I've always wanted to. Since I know I have the Masons people
Mhm.
uh, that are in my club and follow me and give me the ability to be leaders. I've wanted to to be a strong leader because these Mason folks have their people under me.
Mhm.
And these people, many of them will give their lives. They'll die for the program I'm on. So we have learned a lot from the Masons since we've had so many of them in our club
Mhm.
and have had officer positions. So we've learned a lot from them, and we try to use a lot of the iconology and symbology that they are allowed to talk about in our club to make it stronger. And a lot of Masons tell me that our club is set up very much like a lot of the Masonic stuff that they do in terms of honor and respect and upholding yourself in the community. So I think we're doing good because we've patched over whole Masonic clubs
Oh,
into the Black
wow.
Sabbath Nation.
Um, I'm starting to kind of finish up and get towards the end of my questions here. Um, I don't know if you ever watched Jerry Springer, but at the end of every episode, Jerry does this thing called Jerry's Final Thought. What is Black Dragon's final thought for the people?
Well, I loved Jerry Springer when I did. I used to watch that guy all the time, especially the baby's not yours. Ah, dang. Um, my final thoughts.
What is the final thought Black Dragon would like to leave with the people?
I have loved the ride. I have been fortunate enough to lead men. I have been fortunate enough to be uh, to ride all over the United States of America with men who followed me and believed in what I was saying, if only for a time. I have been fortunate enough to create a motorcycle club nation. I didn't create it, but I was able to turn it into a nation that people wear on their backs and live and love, and they have a feeling of belonging. And whether I'm with some of those guys or not, whether some of those guys have gone on or not, I know what I created for them, and I'm happy to see it grow. And so as I move through this life, my final thoughts are I feel very blessed to have been here and very blessed to have chased uh, the dream of being a biker riding across all kind of elements and rain and all kinds of stuff. And I'm thankful that I've been given a chance to lead men. I will say this in my final thought: whatever you believe you can achieve, you can. Just try to be a damn good person, and the rest will come.
Right before we go, how can everyone watch and follow Black Dragon?
Well, we're Black Dragon Biker TV on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook. I said Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, and we're J Bunch II on Twitter, Johnny Bunch the Second. And man, my books can be gotten at blackdragonsgear.com. And my audio podcast is the Dragon's Lair, Lair, the Dragon's Lair Motorcycle Chaos. And we podcast every day if you want to have us in your car, wherever you get your podcast. If you don't have a podcast home, try Spreaker, Spreaker, on Spreaker.com. I get paid more money if you listen to my podcast there. But anywhere you listen to it, Apple, iHeart Radio, all them places, Spotify, you will find the Dragon's Lair Motorcycle Chaos. So that's my whole thing on how to get in touch with me. And we do Black Dragon Biker TV Monday through Friday on YouTube and Facebook and LinkedIn, sometime in the 10 o'clock time frame. We're not always on time, but it's sometimes in the 10 o'clock time frame for pretty close to an hour each day. So we would love to have you come check out the podcast and hang out with us.
I'll definitely come hang out and check y'all out. But man, thank you so much for coming and hanging out, kicking it with us. Come and bless us with all that wonderful knowledge of yours that just pick your brain and find out your side of things. We hope to come and kick it with you again sometime soon. With that, we're going to check out. We're done. So Everybody have a blessed night. Go follow our man's BlackDragon, and we'll talk to you again on the next episode of the Manscape Podcast.